You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our featured presentation.
I'm the man, and the man feels no pressure. I am the man that everyone fears.
You are now entering the vicious circle.
You are facing a fuel-injected suicide machine!
I'm the man. When I walk, the ground shakes. I am the master. I am the ruler of the world. They have been waiting below the surface. Shake the earth from these giants. Shake the earth from these giants.
And welcome to the Vicious Circle. Sid Bud, how you doing tonight?
Good, Rob. How about you? I don't ever get tired of that intro, man. What a cool intro.
That is so cool. I love it. I'm going to let you in on a little secret, though. You know, right at the end there, when you clothesline the guy on the stretcher and it hit that chord on the guitar,
Yeah.
that was all an accident.
Really?
Yeah, I dropped the footage in there and I played it and it went, wow, that was good. So
That was good. Yeah. That was really good.
Oh, look at this. Jeremy is already here. He goes, what's up, Rob and Sid? How's it going, my buddies? I am watching the Patriots play right now versus the Seahawks.
Patriots were winning when I walked in here to do this podcast. They intercepted the ball and ran it down for a touchdown. McCourty.
Well, we have to keep up on that game then.
Right. Now, you know, someone asked me a while back who was going to win the NBA championships. Now, if everyone will remember, I said the Lakers. And right now they're mowing through everybody pretty good.
I think you're right.
Yeah. If you remember that, guys, I called that.
Will said, hey, Rob, did you make that intro? Yeah, I did. It's a song by Mike Treblecock and a group called Cemetery Spawn, but I threw the footage on it.
No, it was really good. Good job, Rob. And you said, what was the guy's name? Michael Fungelbach?
Michael Treblecock.
Treblecock.
Yes.
Okay, I'll stop right there.
And as we said before, we're going to do a little bit of wrestling stuff. Oh, wait. Ryan Haskell just said it is, where is it? 7-7 right now.
Oh, good.
Yep. Gotta like it when the games are close like that.
Well, it was a good game earlier. It was, Kansas City and the Chargers went to overtime. I never would have called that. I thought that Kansas City would have handled them pretty easy. And then Dallas, man. Of course, the line was 3 points. They won by 1 point, I believe, but went down to the wire. So that was pretty cool. So Tennessee, same thing, went down to the wire today. So with no fans out there, they seem to be, well, some places had fans. I forget what place did. It's always scary looking to see that many people that close together now. But there were a couple. I forget where it was. Maybe was it Kansas City? Anyways, one place did have fans, and I know in college there was a place or two that had fans. Oh, Dallas had fans, of course. You know, Jerry Jones is going to have fans.
Gotcha. Matthew said Sid knows his basketball.
Well, I don't really know the NBA that well. But it's with this environment, it's almost like playing 101. It's hard to beat LeBron James at 101. He's just a big bully, you know. But now, usually I do know college basketball and college football pretty well.
And we have here David Alderman. Hey, Sid, thanks for signing the baseball last night. That meant a lot to get that chat with you for a bit.
Thank you too, man, David.
How did that go yesterday? Because you did a whole signing yesterday.
Went really well, man. For to be like that online, the people were really cool. I think it actually, Rob, was better for the people because usually when you're at an autograph signing, the people are got someone behind them and everybody's pushing and shoving. These people really, the one-on-one conversations were more like one-on-one conversations.
Yeah, because it was just you guys in this virtual. It's like you and I right now. It was just
right,
you.
right.
And it's something you can't duplicate at a show. Like
No,
nothing will take away that show, that getting to meet someone face to face. But this,
no. It's got its advantages. One, I was working in the yard all day. I didn't even have time to shower or shave, and came in here, was able to do this, meet some people, and like you said, I don't have to think. I know that the people I talked with had a better one-on-one conversation than if we were, at an autograph signing. The numbers weren't great because it's hard to get that many people, but I signed as probably many figures and stuff I signed at a signing. These guys, this guy David and Rocky, what a great job they're doing. Excuse me, I'm crying. No, I was about to burp. No, when I think of Rocky and Dave, it makes me want to cry because they're so hideous looking. No, really good guys. They're doing right now. I mean, I could be wrong, and these guys could be full of me, but they seem to be truly honest. And I said something to them yesterday after we got done with how great a job they were doing. I said, I know they've probably already been through a lot and probably heard a lot. I'm not trying to say they didn't hear a lot through me or didn't have to put up with a lot through me, which they didn't. But I said, you guys doing a good job. Don't quit. As long as it doesn't, you're not getting too tired or you're not being taken advantage of or stuff like that. And but what a great job they're doing.
They are. And they've been doing it all summer, every weekend on the summer. So they've got lots of practice.
No, it'll be my luck tomorrow. Someone will call me and go, said, yeah, I dealt with David and Rocky and they screwed me over for $25. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I think I've told the story already, but this is what they did. I mean, I'm still a little shocked. And I told them this last night was, I was just asking them, and I told them, I said, I never asked and never expected you guys to send that guy any money that was having a hard time. Remember the guy's picture, right? And so, Tojo.
Yeah,
Tojo. And so, I said, man, did y'all really send that money? Because one, you just don't see that kind of that kind of kindness in this business or anywhere where someone would send someone $5, $50 or whatever. I think they said $500.
I think it
now, well, the thing is that first of all, I don't want to, for that story not to have been true, and then them be taken advantage of. I told them, I said, I don't think so. The guy never would have. I don't think ever would have done that. I want to hear from him for usually good conversation. He's never called me over the years and asked for anything. I know he's had a horrible time with his health of late, and so again, like I told them, and my aunt told me once, or when you do something for someone, you do it unconditionally, and usually people aren't going to ask you for something that they don't really need it for something. You know what I mean. So again, David and Rocky, man, shout out and kudos to you guys. If that is really a word, kudos. I can't believe I just said that. Wow.
I don't
Hold
know
on. Wow. I just said kudos. Is it Christmas time? Something weird like that? Okay. Like anyway, it's weird. Anyway, you guys doing a good job, man.
I was going to jump into some questions, but it looks like we got a good one here from Larry Francis. Hey, Sid, was it Dusty Rhodes or Ole Anderson's idea to put the WCW World Heavyweight title on Rick Rude?
I'll be honest with you. I don't remember whose idea it was. I remember it happening and stuff, but again, I've been pretty honest about this. I don't really pay attention to things like belts or what other people are doing. Rick was always a cool guy to talk to, funny as hell in the locker room, and I got a chance to ride with him just a couple times. Just funny guy to talk to. But no, I forgot. Honestly, I forgot that he had the belt. But I wouldn't know whose idea it was.
Gotcha. Okay, now I've got a couple questions I'm going to toss in here because we were talking before about you coming back to the WWF or WWE,
Right.
whatever you want to call it now.
Right.
And we had talked about you coming back in, but I've always wondered who came up with the gimmick, Psycho Sid.
Vince McMahon did.
He did. Was there any talk with you at all about a name or a gimmick or anything?
No, Rob, we talked about that before. I got there to the television taping in, I think it was Augusta, Georgia, and walked to the ring and came back. And those, I want to say we did more than one taping sometimes at those places like that to save money. But I know I went to the ring several times. It never hit me what the music was or, what the whole thing was until one of the guys in the back said, do you realize what your name is and what your music is? And I went, no. And then they pointed it out to me. Again, that doesn't bother me. Actually, I thought it wasn't a bad gimmick, and I worked pretty hard to get it over. I didn't work as hard to get it over as I, in the beginning because I sort of resented that after I realized what they were doing. I wouldn't like work with the crowd with it, but it was such an easy deal to work with. It was eventually I just sort of caved in, and made the best of what I had.
It gave you that edge to be a little crazier.
No, it did. That's the thing about it. It opened up a lot of doors. And that's really when my interviews started really expanding, where I could really pull some cool shit out,
Nice. So then, now that you got the gimmick, whose idea was it to put you as Shawn's bodyguard to come back in?
That was Vince's idea. That's something he laid out to me in the very beginning. They wanted me to come over work with Kevin, be Shawn's bodyguard, make the transition for him from heel to babyface, and then, and then from there, to see what happened. And what happened, of course, we know. I ended up reversing everything and get off that whipping post, which we've talked about.
Yes, because that led right up to WrestleMania. Now, right. I got to ask, what was it like to come to the ring with Jenny McCarthy?
It was pretty cool. Of course, wasn't also Pamela Anderson there as well? Yeah.
Yeah, she was. I think she was in the other corner.
She was in the other corner. Now, of course, it was cool. It wasn't like, again, I was talking about one of the most memorable locker room visits with a famous person was James Brown. So that's never going to be topped. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So Jenny McCarthy was cool, but she was just down to earth, simple, normal girl, I hate saying this, but up close, not that attractive.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cameras can do that.
I'm not kidding, man. I don't like throwing people under the bus, but yeah, I've heard her say this too now, Rob, that they call her the stretch mark queen of Hollywood or something, and I'd say that was probably somewhat true.
Oh, really? Okay. See, yeah. I've heard that. That's interesting.
You've heard that?
I've never heard that, actually.
Okay. No. Okay. Look it up.
I don't know a lot of gossip about her, to be totally honest. So
I just heard her say that in an interview one time. And I saw her up close, not with the clothes off, just her panties. No, well, just kidding. No, she was wearing like regular, clothes, and I see why she said that. I'll leave it at that.
There we go. Okay, one last question about this then. During that match, you got up there and you distracted the ref. Was that the setup, or was that just something you did on the fly? No,
that's what we had talked about that. Now, I wasn't aware that the turn was going to happen so quick. Now, why I think the turn happened pretty quick is because everything leading up to that WrestleMania, with both of them, every time we did anything that involved the three of us, they pretty much cheered for me. Even like at that show, sitting on the floor as a bodyguard, they cheered my name the whole time. The whole time that they were working almost in the match. If you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So I think they said, okay, hey, we got to try to put the brakes to this train because this isn't what we're wanting. We're wanting these guys to get over, not see it,
And that obviously the crowd knows what they want, and we've always
right.
People know. All right, let's get a few questions in here from the fans. Ben Carmichael said, "What did you think of the Attitude Era storylines involving hardcore violence and over-sexual segments? Did it belong in wrestling?"
No, I don't think so. Um, some of it, I want some of a little bit of everything. Uh, if I had a chance to do things, I'd want, I'd want like 50 people with me. I'd want a valet, a midget, a rock group. I mean, that's just walking to the ring. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I'd want that. The good-looking women. I think there's a place for the hardcore matches. I've always talked about. There's a lot of guys out there pretty good at it. I've not really paid attention to a lot of it, but one of the guys I did pay attention to was Rod Van Dam and Sabu. Again, I think you put those guys in a match every night. It's just part of the card. It helps. It helps. Pulling in that type of audience. They're the best at it. You have all those things on there, but then you look around. You don't just say, okay, hey, we're going to put Sid up there because he's a big guy. Where you look around and really put the guy up there up top, or the people up at top that that everybody say, okay, this looks like this might work. Not saying that Rob Van Dam and Sabu could never be the guys on top, but again, I believe there's a need and a place for everything in the wrestling business. Where we used to hear this, Rob, where you need a fat guy and a skinny guy and a midget and stuff like that. Yeah, maybe, but you need Rob Van Dam and you need a Lex Luger. You need a British Bulldog. You need all those things. You know what I mean?
Yes. Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Here is one from Steve. What's Sid's thoughts on Vince Russo?
I've said this a bunch of times too. Vince is a good guy as far as everything I know. Dealing with him through the years in WWF, we did one thing together. It was at the bar Cheers there in Boston, the original place. They had the place called Cheers, I guess. We did a little magazine segment. He did a few interviews for the company. He helped me with part of one interview one time. I don't even know if I used it or not, but a pretty nice guy. Then when he came to WCW, we know that whole thing was just crazy, what they were trying to do. And again, even at that point, he was still a nice guy to me. And I've said this too, I want to give someone in that position the chances to be successful, even though I knew it wasn't going to be. And I had Bill Bush, the head guy, excuse me. When I think of Vince Russo, I want to throw up. No, just kidding. That's acid reflux. I just received thinking about Vince Russo. Thanks, Russo. No, he was part of maybe the stupidest interview I've ever did, and that was because Bill Bush came to me personally and said, "Sid, we want you to really try to follow what Vince and Ed Ferraro is trying to create, because if you do it, everybody else will sort of say, okay, if Sid's doing it, we need to all do it as well."
Yeah.
And I always was known to, and this is honest, I think anyone that worked with me or worked, as a booker for, or was my booker or something, I never asked what the outcome was. I didn't know what what was happening in 3 months or 3 weeks. I tried to show up, like I always said, just show up, not worry about who I'm working with, just go do my job and do it the best ability to be the best, and put everything behind me, and not worry about this because this isn't real, and do a good job of acting and blah, 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 So,
that makes sense. It
you know
does.
what I mean?
Try to give the man a chance, And
Right.
he did some good stuff.
This the thing is, I mean, and again, I never saw anything great he did. In WCW, I mean, I remember telling Bill Bush one time, I said, Bill, my exact words, I said, Bill, you have been flim-flammed. He said, what do you mean? What's flim-flam, Sid? I said, means they bullshitted you, Bill. My exact words to him. Everybody, I think it got into the dirt sheets all over the internet or something that Sid was screaming at Bill Bush in the hall. That wasn't. I was just trying to tell him, man. I said, man, this can't be real,
I think you and I have said on the podcast too, Vince was great with people because
Right.
flesh out an idea, but when he got by himself in WCW, it was like, oh no.
Well, I think Ed and Vince both were honest about what they were trying to do, and that's just, I think, really just use WCW for a resume to, get some sitcom or something. I don't see how. Again, it's just, it was to me. It was. I really pulled myself away from. I had aspirations of wanting to be in the office side of business. I actually went to one booking meeting that Kevin and them were putting on. It was just so non-productive, and I said, I'm just, a few days I got off, I'm going to spend at home.
Yeah.
I'm not going to waste. I'm not going to waste my days off. And I wanted to so bad, so I thought one day it would happen. And then Vince Russo came in. I thought, okay, these guys might run their course, But then I said, what, it isn't worth it,
Well, it was an interesting time during that period too, though. So.
It was, but again, it was just like, so I just, like everyone did, Rob, for the most part, they go, okay, I've got my deal. I'm going to have a lot of fun during this. I'm going to eat well and go to nice restaurants and, everything. I'm just going to have a great life between now and then. And that was a great place to do it.
Okay. We've got one here from Graham Weeks. Sorry. How tall are you really, Sid? I know WWF had you at 6'9", but some people have said you're really 6'5", 6'6". I don't know. We going to kayfabe this one?
No, I always measured, I remember the last time I was measured barefooted, I was like just a hair over 6'6".
There you go. That's legit. Wills has got a good question. Sid, with Halloween around the corner, what's your favorite horror movie?
I barely heard you, Rob. You were cutting out a little bit, but I know
sorry.
you said horror movie.
Yeah,
man. What did you say?
With Halloween around the corner, what's your favorite horror movie?
You're really echoing, Rob.
Oh, really?
Just a little bit. Now, as far as old horror movies, is the Night of the Living Dead, the old one. You froze up, Rob. There, you're moving a little bit. There you go.
Okay, we're good.
But the old movies, I like watching old horror movies. Like Night of the Living Dead, the original one. But then probably one of my favorite movies of all time, horror movie or whatever, is Silence of the Lambs. That's not really like a Halloween movie, but it's still a good one,
I know. I've got a couple friends of mine. They watch that every Halloween.
Do they?
Yep. So yeah, that's a good choice.
Right. That's a good one.
Here's a question from George. When you came in as Psycho Sid, you went straight into a program with Shawn and Diesel, like we were talking. They were notoriously difficult to deal with. How was your relationship with them?
It was perfect. Never was difficult to deal with them. They're easy to work with, accommodating, just nothing like what people heard.
Gotcha.
And matter of fact, I'll say this thing. Kevin, for example, he was one of those people like myself who didn't care like what the other person was doing, even the person he was working with. If that person didn't want to do his, put him over or something like that, it didn't bother him. I've seen it happen when the guy didn't want to put him over. And I talked to him, but he goes, I said, Kevin, I know this guy told Jerry Briscoe he wasn't going to put you over here. So I'm taking, Sid, I don't care about that. I go, I know that. I just want to let you know. He goes, sure. So, but Shawn, on the other hand, those kind of things did bother him a little bit with, like certain people. But as far as me and Shawn, man, it was always, we got along great.
Excellent. I saw this one. I'm curious. TJ Jones says, why don't you never go live no more? Well, we're live right now, so I'm not quite sure what that means, TJ.
Yeah, TJ.
Yeah, maybe clear that up just a little bit, and we'll definitely get back to that.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Here we go. I'm a fan of your fan of you as a heel or a babyface, but this brings up a question I'm going to ask you. Which did you prefer?
Honestly, if I prefer to be in the heel. I think that's where I honestly offered the most to the business was being a heel. Um, it's just, in my opinion, the baby face is a little bit limited. The things you can do, you can only, make so many comebacks. A heel, you got so many things you can do to achieve heat. I think that's why I had longevity in the business too, because heel or baby face, I knew how to, on the heel part, that's how I kept myself over. And the few times I was baby face, it was just heat that I had as a heel. You know what I mean? That was like, man, we need somebody to fight somebody. Whoa, Sid's mean. He's a tough guy. So it was never like a run as a baby face, like Hulk Hogan run or something like that. It was just a short little deal for the most part, for whatever reason. But again, it wasn't like they weren't the mainstays of my career. The baby face periods. It was always the heel periods. And that's what people talk most about. Like the one they talk about, the match me and Sean. That's when I was a heel.
That's like you said, a lot more memorable moments there.
Right.
Excuse me. Wills has an update. It's 14-7 Pats.
Okay, good.
So they're still going. Here's a question. Would you have been in DX? We kind of talked a little bit about this.
The thing is, it was cool. DX was cool. And it would have been fun to be a part of, just like it was fun to be a part of the Horsemen. And it was fun being part of Team Madness for, a short little time. But like, for instance, when Team Madness came to me and said, Sid, we want to put a London Blaze with you full time and keep this Team Madness thing going. I just said, guys, I appreciate that, but I like being a singles. And but this is what's cool about it. Even it's the mighty Sid Vicious that knows everything. I need a break too. So that would be a cool way to say if I'd come off a real tough, or say a couple of years of tough, real serious programs, and I needed a break or something like that to just give myself a recharge, that'd be a perfect place to do it. Okay, now I'm with a bunch of cool people now, or having fun. And now that gives me time to regroup. Okay, now what direction do I feel like going in this? And what's needed at that time? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. There's answered question too. I'll put it up real quick. I once saw a video of you on YouTube with Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen. How did you actually fit into that group, into that classic stable? And that's kind of what you were just mentioning.
Well, one thing about that, I was so green, and I just came off that injury. Now, right before I had that lung surgery, I really believe, Rob, and to the fans, I was really becoming, I was really gaining some psychology for the business, meaning I really could dictate a match as a heel. I felt comfortable doing it. When I had that surgery, it took me about a year, and it really was like starting over. Not that I ever became a good worker, but I was just learning. So when I came back from the surgery, it wasn't long after I came back, they put me with the Horsemen. Now, and to be honest with you, it wasn't a great learning experience like it was with Eddie and Danny Spivey and Kevin Sullivan and the Road Warriors and the Steiners and all the people I worked with in 4 days like that. Working with those guys, they, for instance, really Ric Flair and Barry Windham, they would never say, hey, they come up with all the spots in the match and they never involved me. And only person that really ever did was Arn. And matter of fact, one of the fans said something in that meet and greet last night saying, yeah, I saw you with the Horsemen one night and you came in, they tagged you in, the people were going crazy to get you in. You know what, Sid? You were really smart. You knew not to give them too much. You know what you did? What? He said, you grabbed a headlock and then you tagged out. Reason why is because I didn't know what to do. That's how green I was. I just, okay, shit, tag back out. You know what I mean?
Next.
And they probably tagged me in without telling me too, That's what they did to me a lot.
Oh,
so it wasn't a great learning experience, but it was cool being, something everybody looked up to, and that's being, the Four Horsemen.
No. Okay, this question I'm curious about. Is it true that when you were in Pride of Brotherhood, there was a tag team who said they would take whatever you threw at them, and then they got whooped in the ring?
I'm sure it was. I'm sure that happened. thing about when we did that Pride of Brotherhood, we did it in a really small little independent group over in Memphis,
Mhm.
and it was really like ECW but worse, where it was just real physical. And I do remember that was sometime that was a place that people were. I don't know. It just seemed like there were a lot of people there. And I can't remember all the guys' names, but I remember everybody that thought they were too big for their pants. I had a couple of them say something really weird. Where actually I did challenge one of the guys. He went out to the audience and sit down. And I went out and grabbed the microphone and challenged him. So there was a couple times that we got a couple guys in the ring and um, straightened things out. You could say.
Gotcha. Okay. Where did it go? I just saw a question and then the screen jumped. Oh well, I can't find it now. I'll go to the next one. What do you like the best? Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, or Sid Justice?
Sid Vicious.
That is the one that is iconic.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Oh, and there's TJ. He said, "Sorry, I was talking about Kyle Wagner." Okay, so I guess he was asking Kyle why he doesn't go live anymore.
Oh, okay.
And oh, Larry Francis said Sid's favorite horror movie is River of Darkness.
Larry Francis. Don't tell me that's Larry from Minneapolis or Minnesota.
That's the Larry.
He called me last night.
Yeah.
Right as we were starting to do that autograph signing. Yeah, River of the Darkness. Sure, Larry. Carry your butt back to San Francisco. Or go down to Kenosha and try to stop all the rioting.
There we go.
Yeah, stop being a chicken, Larry.
Here is Wills. Oh, Wills has a question for me. Rob, where did you get the nickname Rob the Slob?
Oh, man. Who gave him that?
That was Kenny. That's my COVID con name.
Oh, okay.
Apparently there was a wrestler in the 40s named Bob the Slob.
Okay.
And then my buddy Ed.
Wow.
Yep.
Kenny Casanova called you that?
He's the one who gave me that name.
Now, I've been waiting for someone to ask me the question, so I'll ask it myself.
Okay.
The wrestling question. Sid, in your lifetime, your career, what was the most horrific thing you ever witnessed or saw in your life?
Good question.
Okay. All right, here's the answer. One day I got a phone call on my phone, and it said something, and I don't know how to FaceTime, right? All of a sudden, somehow I answered it, and it was Kenny Casanova with a robe, and I don't even want to say I saw this, but with no clothes on, and that will be forever stitched into my brain.
You're going to be 106 with Alzheimer, but never forget.
I'll never forget that. It's like, and he wasn't shy about it. I was like, "Ooh, stop that, Kenny! Stop."
Here is our great friend Lori from was it last week or the week before?
Yeah.
Hey guys, tell Sid I'm disappointed he's not wearing his Pink Floyd T-shirt this week.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lori. I know I didn't have time to try to find anything like that. Hey, and thanks for last week too, Lori. You did a great job, and really enjoyed having you on last week.
That was a blast. She messaged me afterwards saying thanks again. It was like, it was our pleasure, honestly, because you brought a lot to that conversation.
Oh, she did.
Oh,
you know what, too, and this is why I'm glad she messaged tonight. This is the thing about the CD&E. This is what the payoff was, and I forgot until after we hung up. That CD&E, of course, with the multivitamin, but CD&E, and they did tests where hundreds of thousands of milligrams of those vitamins were given to burn victims that came in so badly burned that they could not take a skin graft. And the heavy thousands, hundreds of thousands of milligrams of this multivitamins, and plus, and it was the CD&E was really elevated, helped them recover fast enough to where they could take a skin graft. So that's when what happened? So that's after that study was done, they found that combination helped everything recover faster. And that's why all of us and everybody in the fitness world was taking in mega doses of that.
Interesting.
Yep. I forgot about that until we got off there.
Well, no, I'm glad you remembered. Here is a quick question from Wills, because I remember you and I were talking about rumors one time, and this came up. Sid, did the WWE present you with the Kane gimmick? And if they would have presented it to you, would you have taken it?
No, they did. I mean, I always wanted to do the old Lord Humongous gimmick, because when I was doing it, I've been honest, I didn't really know what I was doing, man. But if I could do a gimmick like that, after I learned a little bit, especially I think on a big stage somewhere, it could have really gotten over, But no, I didn't get the opportunity, but I think I might have thought about it.
That would have been an interesting one, because it was almost a Lord Humongous style, because you had your face.
It was.
covered,
This is the thing is, this is the whole deal about being Kane or Lord Humongous. It's working behind a mask in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being a hockey mask or a regular wrestling mask. One thing about a mask, and we were told this as we were in the business, that people wore masks and things like that, that you have to really project yourself twice as much for for people to understand what you're trying to do. And I think that's why I would do pretty good in a character like that, because I think I was pretty good at projecting myself. And if I had the freedom to do a character like Lord Humongous or Kane that I had in the early, through almost all my career, Sid Vicious and Psycho Sid and everything else, I think I could have really done good with something like that.
That would have been cool to see. And
well, just think, and not to cut you off, Rob, but to cut you off. That's but again, I had a pretty good interview. Imagine that scary interview coming from a hockey mask,
Right.
And then, not again to cut you up, but with that mask, a hockey mask, I could be 15 different people. There's so many cool. That's where the theatrics come in. You could do so much.
Any kind of mask covering is a beautiful gimmick just for that reason.
Right.
Because go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I remember the angle Edge and Christian did as the Conquistadors, and there was a moment in there where everybody knew it was them, but they're going, no, it's not us. So they had two other people jump in the costumes so they could stand with them and say, see, it's not us. But the next match, it was them again.
Right. No, it's so much stuff you could do with something like that.
John's got a great question. What was the best Sid powerbomb you ever hit on an opponent? Which one did you look at and go, that was nice?
Wow. Wow.
There's a lot to choose from.
Well, there is. This is the thing is Scott Hall, for instance, he took probably the best power bomb of all the people that did a power bomb for me. And he pretty much did all the work. He would go, and he's a big guy. He just made it look so visual. And then he worked Japan so much that wasn't a big deal to him. So if you're trying to ask me for a person, it'd be Scott Hall. But I never really drove Scott Hall on the mat like I did, say, some of those early days of Sid Vicious or the early days of Skyscrapers, where me and Danny sometimes did the double power bomb. I don't think it was as devastating as a single power bomb. But when I'd take those guys and they would fold like an accordion, those would be the ones that were probably the most physical.
Yeah, I know visually, like you said, someone in the crowd going, that guy's dead,
Yeah, right.
Here is one from Craig going, Sid, are you a Black Sabbath fan?
A little bit. Hey, Rob, you're echoing again.
Okay, I think there's something with the internet tonight.
I think it is too.
But yeah, are you a Black Sabbath fan?
Yes, I am. Of course, you can't not be a Black Sabbath fan. If you Ozzy Osbourne. Because everybody I would think would be a Black Sabbath fan.
How can you not be, right?
Right.
Wills is back. 14.
Went to the concert. So.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
So I never did see a concert.
It was pretty cool, man.
Here's one. Craig said the Hercules power bomb was unique.
Given to Hercules?
Yeah.
You know what? People question me about that one. That's on our podcast. Actually, it looks like a weak power bomb. Now, a lot of people said that. I know he wasn't comfortable with taking it. He felt like he was being jobbed out or something. Um, but evidently he didn't sell it or something. I never really paid attention to that, you know. But it wasn't the most beautiful power bomb.
But see, to me, if I'm going up against somebody and they want me to do a job, that's what I want to do it with. Like, because that move looks
Right,
vicious, you know? See what I did there?
right,
It looks vicious. So yeah, take me out that way because at least it looks legit.
right.
Will's, yeah, Will's commented here. It's 14-14 now.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Will.
Yes. So let's get one more quick question and then we'll get into the other topic. Here's a good one. Who is this from? Rondell Turnage. How did it feel having a manager? How you felt about Harvey Whippleman? I think we touched on this briefly too.
Well, I brought Harvey in to be my manager. Long story, he was brought in to manage a couple other people. It didn't work out. I was turning from babyface to heel, and he was my manager as Lord Humongous and Continental. That's where we met each other, and just felt like trying to help him out.
Okay, I'm going to bring up one more just because this is good. Steve said, I listened to the Scorpions China White Skyscrapers theme song during my bench press. Can't wait for chest day tomorrow.
No, that's a great. Actually, the one bodybuilding contest I did, I used that for my posing routine. It's a great build up. The song is for sure.
It does. It's got power behind it. That's the nice thing.
Yeah, I like that.
Excellent. So, guys, thanks everybody for those questions. Now we're going to get back into another gear because you had an interesting topic you wanted to chat about tonight.
Right.
The fact that it's about the Black Lives Matter movement.
Right.
Now, when you and I were talking, it seems like how it started is not where it is now.
Right. Rob, this is again. I don't even know how to talk about it. It's everything has gotten so confusing. I remember the first Black Lives Matter. This is me, okay, everyone. This isn't Rob or this isn't anyone else that comes on our podcast or this is someone that never voted and looking at things. I don't have any hidden agendas against anyone. But my first experience with Black Lives Matter is sort of funny. I was over in Memphis, and that's away from my house here, just a few miles. But they had done a march that day and blocked the bridge, and I couldn't get home without going around. So, again, didn't understand what Black Lives Matter really was about, just because it was the beginning stages of it, really hadn't heard a lot about it. But my first experience was, now they're affecting me getting home. So, again, I started off with a bad taste. But after examining it and looking into it and listening to a lot of people that I respect, and I always look for opinions for people that have good insight and stuff like that. And I said, and then I think I told you, Rob, I saw this thing on PBS one time. I had Tom Hanks and Oprah Winfrey, and really what I got out of that was this, that and then talking to other people too. This is what I came out of all of it is that we have to be able to say just that, Black Lives Matter, and leave it at that. We can't have to say, hey, Sid Lives Matter too. Well, because if that was the case, then I need to make up my own sign that says, hey, Sid's lives too, or something like that. So now, and I'm not saying this to be rude or anything like that, ugly, but watching that deal on PBS with Tom Hanks and Oprah Winfrey, they didn't say this directly, but I got from this a little bit, and I use this sometimes trying to persuade people to just say Black Lives Matter. And when I got to the point that they always had their stance against it, and then I'd always fall to this. I'd go, but what if he just said it just where they couldn't say anything else? And still that wasn't enough. It was like, no. And but this is too, Rob, this is what point I want to make is that these are the people, first up, you and I talk about it. And I know Rob, everyone is a very sensible person. He's not racist bone in him. He's a really great human being. But some of the people I talk to about this matter aren't. And I'll give you an example. A couple of people I know, Linda and Richard Cox, we were coming out of a restaurant, Ponchos, and I'd come out of the bathroom. They were right ahead of me. And I heard Richard say to Linda, hey, you didn't have to say that to that girl. and I saw a little colored girl sweeping, a girl that worked there at Ponchos, and I knew exactly what had happened because Linda's stance is she wants to say the N word anywhere she wants to, and so Richard was embarrassed. I'm embarrassed at this point. So I said, Linda, what happened? He goes, she said N word. And I said, why did you do that? She goes, well, I can say what I want to. And I went, well, no, you can. I said, but because this girl was young. I said, but what if you hurt her feelings? No, not again. You can say what you want. I don't think you should say that. She goes, well, I don't care. And then you could tell it did. She was thinking about that part. Okay, yeah, I should say what I want, but no, even though I'm one of these people who want to say what I want to say, I can say, yeah, that's not really nice, even though I'm not going to agree with you. So when that's some of the people you're dealing with talking to say, okay, I'm trying to talk you into saying just Black Lives Matter. So when you're dealing with different types of people to try to understand something like Black Lives Matter that no one knows about or never going to know because we haven't lived that struggle, right, Rob?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like that episode on South Park where it came down to about racism. This is the first time I actually got it. Stan was asking Token, hey, my dad's not. It was about the end guy. It was when his dad said the N word on Wheel of Fortune. He said, my dad's not really a bad guy. Why is everybody mad at him? He just says, Stan, you just don't get it. And about the fifth time to the show, he just says, Stan, you just don't get it. It hit me. We're never going to get it, okay? Because we didn't live that. And that's what we got to tell ourselves too. We're not going to get it. So we have to try to pull ourselves back and understand whatever it is. But I've said all that. It is hard for me now to say that to anyone. I can't really, I don't know if I can say that to someone now or, fight that saying, I want you to say just Black Lives Matter because I think as Rob, you're the one that taught me into watching Fox News. There is some things to be questioned about that right now. I'll go back and do say this for that movement and for both movements. I don't still agree with this, but I heard someone, I can't remember who it was, they were talking about why so much protesting going on. And they said sometimes, for instance, if some protesting doesn't go on, even the people that are making the right decisions and taking this to Congress and blah, 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 when it gets in time to present a bill or a law or something like that about it, if there wasn't enough steam behind it when it got there, it's not going to be recognized. And I can understand that a little bit. Where John Lewis said a little good trouble's good trouble, whatever, a little bad trouble's good, whatever, how he said that. I agree with that. But that, again, it's got to be simple protesting. It can't be what it is now. And we talked about last week or the week before too about, had heard a lot about the monuments and statues, but it's just, I think we have to rethink everything and hope that everybody will just slow down and think about what we're doing before we do it. It's just, it has been fun, Robert. I told you this morning, watching this election is like betting on a college basketball game.
It is.
Like 1 minute, you're like, now I've said Donald Trump was going to lose 2 years ago. Nothing against Donald Trump, everyone. It was just a sort of gut feeling I got because the guy was just, I never went through a day of not seeing or hearing something about the guy. And I was just using it as a wrestling philosophy that he's overexposed. And when people get overexposed, and I used Tim Tebow for an example, the guy only did good things and people hated him, So again, if you can hate Tim Tebow, you can definitely dislike Donald Trump. So again, I got in this as just a joke, but it's been educational. One, I would never bet anyone this far out again, Maggie, if you're listening. Hey, kudos to Maggie too. She got kicked off Facebook. She's like, she's a rebel out there now. I don't know if she's listening tonight or not. I talked to her yesterday.
Well, there's a little conversation going on here. I'm just noticing because Cheryl asked, Sid, did you just say colored girl? And I'm not sure if that's a term that's bad or not. I lose track anymore.
Yeah, me too. I did. I think I did say little colored girl. I don't know what's right or not right to say on that subject.
Yeah, well, Donna Maggie Williamson said he didn't mean any disrespect, hon.
No, I don't. I don't.
And
Not
that
not at
girl
all.
said, I still love you, Sid.
Well, I appreciate that. No, that girl was again. I felt so bad for her that day. Um, again, um, I've seen people that distance himself by doing things like that. There was one guy. He's passed away now, but he would do things like with Harvey Whippleman. And I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, but Harvey's always dated black girls, and I never. You can ask Harvey. I never made fun of him or anything like that. We joked about it. But Buddy would always say the N word to Bruno. It was like, "You still dating that N girl?" Blah blah blah. And it was devastating for Bruno. So Bruno just told me what they consider. I'm not going back around Buddy anymore. And years later, Buddy asked me, "Bruno don't come around anymore." I said, "Well, Buddy, it's because you're insulting his girlfriend all the time with the N word." Well, see, I just feel like I gotta say what I gotta say. Now, I told Buddy this, and everyone knows me. I was one of those people at one time, not about every issue in life, but if I felt like I wanted to say something, I wanted to say it, and I didn't have, learned that could hurt people's feelings. Sometimes it wasn't worth and probably why I did it. Everyone is because I always wanted to win at everything I did, and even in a verbal warfare, I found that probably more satisfying to win than a physical warfare. Um, but again, then when I realized what I was doing to people, I said, "No, I want to stop this. I don't want to.
Mhm.
I don't want to hurt people." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Craig put in here too. He goes, I've accidentally done that years ago. And he says, and I live in Ohio.
Well, we all have done that, but we learn from our mistakes. And of course, I'm not trying to get holy and all this stuff, but I learned a lot of this, guys, after I started going to church a few years ago, after my Aunt Joyce had passed away. And, church to me, everyone is real simple. It just says, don't do stupid stuff. It doesn't
Yeah.
say, to me, it doesn't say any more than that. Just do good things. And the difference between God and good, everyone, is 1-0. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Thomas here. What did Thomas say? I can tell Rob is a good guy. Much respect to you too, Sid. Great upfront men. Amen. Thanks, Thomas.
Thanks, Thomas. No, I don't know. When I see what we're seeing today, Rob, and you and I talk about it in the mornings, it's sort of funny. Me and Rob's like about 6 months behind on all the predictions. So this morning, me and Rob were talking through our walk, and I said, "Rob," and we're talking about the lady, the judge who just passed away there, the Supreme Court.
Oh, RBG.
Miss Ruth. What's her name?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Miss Ginsburg. We were talking about that, and of course, I said we were talking about how long it would take Trump to nominate someone. I said, "Rob, he'll do it sometime today." And I haven't watched news all weekend because I've been working and watching college football and stuff. And I found out he actually did it yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't nominated, but he already says he's got like 50 people he's going to do. It's just, but we do laugh about this stuff in the morning. Everyone, we're not taking it that serious. Well, I didn't. I am taking some things serious. I am worried about a lot of things out there. I'm just worried. I don't want to. I went to church Wednesday to hand out, help with some of the people that are needy over there on the, having a tough time right now. And there was a lady there that has never been there before. She's been coming as well. We were talking about, she was talking about, they talk about politics in the morning. And of course I've never voted. And I tell people that, honestly, I'm betting, as far as the betting man, I'm betting against Donald Trump. But at this point today, I don't want Donald Trump to lose to Joe Biden. Because when I bet against Donald Trump, everyone, I didn't think Joe Biden was going to be the only person running. I just could have never imagined this in a million years. So, and everything's, only thing, Rob, you can testify this. The one thing I'm worried about, and I'm worried that Joe Biden won't even address it because it's something they say Bernie Sanders is more leaning towards and makes Joe Biden look bad. And that's climate change. When I heard that, man, climate change people are really weird. I thought, man, maybe I'm wrong about that. So again, uh, that's the only thing he really stands for. And when you see the guy, and I'm not being rude, and the lady got mad at me at church this past Wednesday, I said, there's something wrong with Joe Biden, man. And she goes, well, don't you know that he's been suffering from a speech impediment? I said, yeah, but he wasn't like this 10 years ago. And we all should. I mean, this is the thing is, I'm not trying to take up for him or Donald Trump when Donald Trump couldn't get a glass of water to his face. People, I can't do that myself sometimes, and I mean, and I'm 59. So there's no way I could do what a president has to do right now with, of course, the injuries I have. So if I was 80 years old, there's no way I couldn't do it.
Yeah. But
This is the first time, Rob, sorry, but I think this is the first time I ever really said that there should be an age limit on this stuff,
you really got to wonder. And
you do.
Because you want your president to be there for at least the term,
Right. Well, this is something I've said, and I think me and Maggie talked about it the other day, was that I've never seen anyone going to say I'm going to be president and go, okay, first of all, I'm not going to probably run for a second term. And the reason I'm picking Kamala Harris is because she's the one that can take over just in case something happens to me. I was thinking, I've never heard that. I don't want to hear that. It's like, here, Mr. Rogers isn't here anymore. I don't want to know that presidents don't want to be president,
Yeah. I get that completely.
Hey, it was funny. I guess it's a friend of mine. She's like 87 or something. She's an old hippie, big pot smoker. And she's really down to earth, not a racist at all. But she doesn't realize Kamala Harris is black, right? She thinks she's Asian.
Really?
Yeah, so she keeps telling me the same story. She goes, and I go, she's never going to vote either. She's like me. She goes, yeah, Sydney. I just don't know about Joe Biden. He's talking like he might not live for 4 years, and we're going to get stuck with this girl he's running with. And heck, we'll have an Asian in office.
Might be just off a little bit on that.
I know, right? It's like, I have not told her any difference. I haven't,
Oh, man. Here's a comment from Chad I wanted to get up. I think there's a big leap from speaking your truth and knowing what you're saying is harming someone. And it's
right.
good of you to know the difference.
Well, this is something too. I never was a bully in my life. Didn't like bullies. And stood up for a lot of people that did get bullied, especially in high school. Got beat up a couple times doing that. So again, it's just I'm not for that. Now I did have a time in my life in the 6th grade that I used to torture this girl during break time. We'd come back from for lunch, and the teacher would always go to the smoke a cigarette, what they did in the teacher's office. And we'd have like that 30 minutes with no one to watch us. And me and this little fat guy named Stanley Griffin, we used to terrorize this poor girl, man, named Renee Cook. And I'll never forget it. And it's something I'm telling you, I just hate myself when I think about it. And we never did anything bad. Like we'd get her to chase one of the two of us, and one of us would hide in front of the desk and stick our leg out and trip her. It was like, just horrible. Yeah, just horrible, So I think once you've done that once, you look back at it and go, wow, I look pretty stupid doing that,
Well, yeah, I know there is stuff I did when I was in public school. I'm looking at it going, wow, was I immature?
Yeah, right.
I think I'm a jerk now, but no, way back then. Yeah.
Yeah, you were.
Thanks for I appreciate that. Good to know you got my back, buddy.
I was hoping you didn't pick up on that. I was going, yeah, you were. That's okay.
From Steve, and it actually loops us back into the topic. Jonathan Isaacs of Orlando Magic didn't wear a Black Lives Matters t-shirt because he said Black Lives Matter, the group, doesn't have anything to do with Black Lives anymore. I added anymore. He didn't have that, but that's
no. I think that's the problem right now. Again, Rob, remember the other morning I asked you, I heard something that supposedly the president of the NAACP tweeted that they actually pulled off there. It was so bad. I can understand again when things have been so bad for you that you're reaching out and acting and doing things. But we got to pull ourselves back. We can't, if I'm in charge of something like Black Lives Matter, I'm saying, hey guys, we can't lose our goal. Our goal is to make a positive influence on what we're trying to do. And if we're taking a step back for something that's not positive, we're not going anywhere. And right now, I think they're just spinning the wheels.
Well,
What happens? I think a lot of times, Rob, not to cut you off, but I think when we see things like this, we'll see something branch out of Black Lives Matter. That'll probably be a better movement.
Well, I think we talked about this earlier today too. With the Black Lives Matter movement, it started out what I think was a great cause.
Yes.
But whatever has happened between then and now, right now, it seems to have a very tarnished name. And sadly, it's just like business. It's about branding. That name is tarnished.
And this is the thing. Unfortunately, a lot of this probably aren't people directly connected to Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
When they say this, and we see the polls, that only like single-digit percentage of people are doing these things, and some of the people who are doing these things aren't connected to Black Lives Matter. They're Ativa groups and all these other things. So that's the thing is too. We got so many people in these places like Seattle and all these other places that are just. We don't know who's who. That's why we need everyone to calm down and stop all this. Where's Mr. Rogers when you need him? You know, we send Mr. Rogers down to Portland and to Chicago. Now, think about Chicago, everyone. They have that many shootings and deaths on a normal week. Probably has nothing to do with the looting and the rioting.
I actually wondered about that.
No, anytime, and I've seen this on Viceland, anytime you hear a statistic about Chicago, you go, wow, that's not really true. Because I think sometimes one or two people are shot and killed there almost every day. It's really mind-boggling how many people get shot in Chicago.
Said, I do agree. There should be an age limit for a president.
No, I do too. And again, it just didn't become, didn't stand out to me because again, this is the first time I really followed a president race. But yeah, Donald Trump is on the borderline of being too old. But he does a better job at rambling than Joe Biden does.
Oh,
if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
You're going to like this. The doctor is back. Dr. Stevel.
Oh my God.
And he said, Joe Rogan joked that Biden was like a flashlight with dying batteries.
It really is, man. I mean, and again, I don't want to be mean to this guy. I'm just saying what I'm seeing. And I don't have, like they were saying, I don't have a dog in this race,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm having fun watching the race. It's like a train wreck, not a race. But no, there's something wrong with him. And if I was, again, I'm 59 and I still have these incognite moments like he has, so at 78, I can imagine the way I'd come across,
Mm-hmm. Thomas said here, Sid, it's hard to believe you got beat up in high school.
Not very often, but every once in a while I did. Now, I went to a pretty tough school. And also when I was a kid growing up, until I got to the 15 years old or something like that, I was just really tall and skinny. And really wasn't that tall till I got, say, 7th, 8th grade or 9th grade, So I wasn't really that big of a kid growing up at first.
Apparently Steve said, yep, still a jerk. Let me see here. Find one more thing we'll throw in. And trying to find it. I always look really quick through the list for something with a question mark. Here, let's just grab the last one. Biden is coming across as a feeble old man. The debate is going to be Sid versus Marty Jannetty. I'm not sure how we got there.
It'll be about the same. No, I think I don't know. I think the only thing about Joe Biden, he could probably he looks sometimes does come across as that angry old man, And I could see him attacking Trump in one of these debates. You know, he's already threatened him at least 2 or 3 times about taking him out behind the woodshed. You
That's
know,
true.
he has, you know, and you know, this thing I learned about as I was a kid on the farm. You don't mess with old people. One, they have no reason. They're about dead anyway. There was this old guy. He's like, I'm not kidding. He looked like 120 years old. His name was John Bamberg, and he couldn't really do much. He could only just really drive a tractor and haul stuff around. But he was always there on time. He never was late. Worked all day. But there was this old guy on the farm named Woodrow. Really strong guy. Really funny. We had a lot of fun together working out there. But he'd always mess with old John. And John would pull like a small knife out of his pocket, and somehow Woodrow would get that knife from him. Then he'd go to his other pocket, pull out a little bigger knife, and then he'd go to it. He always had overalls on. Then he'd come out with his knife about this long out of the side of his pants pocket and his leg. And Woodrow would go, hey, that's enough. And I said, Woodrow, I told you, man, old people don't fool around, man.
Okay, I know I said that was the last one, but I got 2 more quick ones. Steve says 14-14 halftime.
Cool, Steve. Take a break, Steve.
And then Chad said right here, and this will be the perfect one to end it. So who wins in a fight with these two? Biden versus Trump. Who wins?
You know, it's one of those situations where you heard the saying is one person is scared, the other person is proud of it. I think that's what happened. I can see them like running towards each other and getting right there and go, oh, you want to fight? Yeah, you want to fight? Well, yeah, no, you want to fight? No, you want to fight, you know. Cross this line. No, you cross this line. And it goes on for on and on. And Chris Wallace is the one doing the first debate, and he actually falls asleep. And then it'll be like Bruno and those old girls he used to argue with in the bars. By the end of the night, they're both hugging and crying together at the podium. Go, yo, Joe, I really like you. No, I really like you. You know. I can see it happening like that.
Well,
like
Thomas is our job for you in it. He goes, Sid, maybe you can be special guest referee in the Trump versus Biden hardcore match.
And I'll tell you what it is I'm going to get Kanye West, and it's going to be me and Kanye West against the 2 of them in a tag team.
There we go.
I'm going to jump in as vice president for Kanye West.
See, we have to end it there. How can you top Kanye?
There you go.
All right, man. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you too, Rob.
This has been a blast, guys. Thank you so much for those questions too. So I guess that's it for the Vicious Circle this week.
Guys, thank you for tuning in again this week. I know that this could be hard on some people hearing about the politics we're talking about. Rob, you did you say somebody asked about, that suggested we do a post-campaign?
Yeah, post-election podcast.
Post-election. So I think a few people are listening to this. We do want your feedback on this. You know, I've been honest. I don't know anything what I'm doing. I'm learning as I go along. I do think to have a simple view on things is a great way to be able to look at things, pull yourself back, and I'm not taking this serious as some people do. But it is sort of fun to watch this, you know. So we're going to follow this for until this is over with. And we appreciate your comments, your questions, and just keep them coming every week, guys. And thanks for tuning in.
You've been listening to the Vicious Circle podcast. Your host, Sid Udi. Co-host, Rob Bellamy. Additional research by Pete Marsh. The Vicious Circle podcast is produced by Two Cousin Road Trip Productions, a division of JX3 Media Productions. The intro music is Unleash the Giants by Cemetery Spawn, and the outro music is Digging Space by Mike Treblecon.